season 3.
Yes, 100%. Like, this isn't London Alvo, but
He's doing the hand thing. The Italian's coming out. I think they're overrating the shit out of Hisu.
I don't get it. Yeah, Charong's sick. Twilight's very good, but these two players can't be the souls of the team.
And we've had our fun. And now it's the Toronto Defiant. Which, if you're a Toronto Defiant fan, I mean, you might be entertained in a MIDI way. Let's say that. I'd like to think you're entertained by the worst franchise in Overwatch League history. Now, let me substantiate that, because that's not true by win rate alone.
But they're mid-team. Yiska, come on.
They are a team that has not participated in playoffs.
True.
And, I mean, unfortunately, Houston hasn't either.
Yeah.
And their team that really also very rarely had, like, stages where, like, something's going on there.
Peaks.
Right?
Yeah.
They are basically, like, every season, it seems like the Toronto Defiant are doing the equivalent of buying the Balenciaga tube sock shoes. They were, like, nice, like, 3 years ago, but now are kind of mid, you know? But you're overpaying for them like a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Now, I feel like that has been true for, like, you know, the rejects of Philly last year, right? Where they brought on Hisu and, like, Sado, and you're like, that's a team that actually was really good for at least a regular season, right? So how bad can Toronto be? Turns out,
dude,
very mid.
No. I have to. Okay. I know you're just like describing like how people would perceive them, dude. There's some teams that you see that you're never scared of ever, like Oh, in hindsight, I've never lost a match to Toronto, actually, now that I think about it.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that, actually. So okay, but like there's some teams that you go into the server and you just know that there's nothing overwhelming about them. Dude, even though Toronto upgraded players last year, like they did not feel like a special team in like in any sense. Like I didn't get the feeling that, like, where did they stand out? You know, they had the Philly rejects. So those already, that's like the rejects from another mid-table team last year, right? They had Neist, who was like not that impressive and actually has a pretty bad reputation in Korea. They had Lastro, good player, who they got like last minute. Dude, I don't know where you're like supposed to find any. Not a single person on the team has ever impressed me, except for Aspire when he played well in like that 1 month, right? So no, I didn't really like know what to think about them. Now they pull up with like this new roster that we have like displayed. Dude, like I don't know how they fit together and like why they put this team together. Like I don't know what the vision is here, honestly. And like they have talented players. Like I think Hotbad had an up year last year. I think he played pretty well. Twilight is like always going to be a good player until he's like done with his game, I think. But like, I don't know like why these players are on a team together, if that makes sense. And to like add on to this, because I won't like spread too much behind the scenes stuff, but like Toronto is not a team that's afraid to spend money. Like they will spend money if they want to. So like, this is what you put together after having that reputation of being able to spend. Like, I'm sorry, like there should be, if you know the free agents that this team was chasing, you'll see like why I find like what they put together in the end like pretty funny.
Yeah,
I think if in order to give a little bit more meat to the bone for and not to go give specifics, because that's always a little dirty, I think, but like they brought on Twilight. This is like your beacon now, right? Like this is basically like the guy you bring in. I think they thought Hisu was that guy as well. In my mind, that's like saying I'm building around BQB, my franchise. Yeah. And then
you're not wrong.
Like it all went pretty well. And then it all like went off the rails. They didn't get a couple of guys they wanted to, even though they were pretty sure. That they were good. And then, okay, they finished off strong, and they were like, shit, okay. CH0R0RNG, here's the bag, bro. Right? And they, therefore, saved the backline. I think that's legitimately one of the best backlines we have in the Overwatch League now, based on just sheer talent. But, like, yes, I'm feeling like, dude, Muse is what Sado was last year to me.
Yeah.
Where there's like people definitely have communicated that there were holes in the hero pool. Like, how much can he really like back up? There actually were some limitations to what the team could play because of Muse. Like, that's forced a play style. Okay, now we're sort of in a different tank situation with Hotbar and whatnot. Not also like only one tank. Maybe it isn't as pronounced. Then I'm looking at like their DPS. Bro, although in Finale are not the type and caliber of players you want to have when your backline is CH0R0RNG and Twilight. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's exactly it. That's my issue with them. Like, when Twilight was their first signing, I was like, oh, like these guys really are like going after it. And then they didn't get like, I don't know, like a main support player is not the you don't want your main support player to be the second best player on the team, right?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Like, I have such like low expectations for them this year. And like, yeah, Hoppa had an up year last year, but I don't I don't know. There's such good tanks in the league. Like, Muse, honestly, I felt like was very limited in terms of what he could do. I didn't really think as highly of him as like a lot of the people in the community. And I know like DP later came out and spoke about like how they couldn't play Ryan comps, for example, because they didn't think he was it wasn't because of Moth. It was like they didn't think he was very good at Ryan. Like, like they have rookie DPS with like Hisu as your veteran. Like, Hisu came in season 3. That's your veteran on for like, DPS. Then they have like tanks that aren't demonstrably solid across the board, and then they have like 2 good supports. So like in the end, you're just looking at a support line that's stable and nothing else, is how I feel about them.
Yeah, and it's so disappointing because I think everybody, say what you want about Toronto, like them or not, whatever, don't care. Nobody wants dog shit teams in the league, period. Right? Yeah. No, it does nothing for nobody. It doesn't do any good for the league. Doesn't do any good for, staying up for 12 hours straight trying to watch all these godforsaken games. I don't want to watch more bye weeks. Neither do you. Let's be honest. This is a team with a S-caliber support line in a game that's already been announced to be maybe not necessarily too, nice to supports, with a flex tank turned main tank player who threw some good bombs in season 1. Muse, who played Winston. Hisu can snipe, and 2 rookies. Sick. Awesome. In a game that's more DPS centric than we've ever seen, I'd rather watch Gundam Evolution tournaments than see Toronto Defiant. I don't know, guys. This doesn't jump off the page. Either Twilight moves to DPS and plays 2 roles at once, and mecha pilots, that stupid gif where the anime characters fucking hands split out to like 17 different phalanges, and they're playing like 12 different things at the same time. Toronto, bro. I don't get him.
The thing is, I think that's doing, although a little dirty, I think he's certainly like better than the conception that you have based on him being like a London member from season 3.
Yes, 100%. Like, this isn't London, although, but
he's doing the hand thing. The Italian's coming out.
I'm doing the Italian thing. Let's start putting him up to like some other NA DPS lines. Do you want Although, or something that Atlanta can offer you, or something that Shot can offer you, or something that maybe even Glads can offer you?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many good players in the league now that like being good is not enough. Like okay. We'll talk about like the top 5 teams that I had pegged. Right? We have Pelican, Dante Merritt. We have Kilo, Proper, and then potentially Sam. I don't know how he'll fit in necessarily. We have freaking like Sparkle, Edison, Doha, Gurria. Okay, that one I have some questions about, but Sparkle's gonna be good, right? No matter what.
Sure.
Okay, we have, even if we're not, we have like Kai Nero Speedily. And Venom.
That's nuts.
It's super good. Like even if we look at other teams like Justice, we have Happy, Assassin Decay. All okay. we have Happy Decay. We have all good players there, right? So, dude, even fucking Boston has striker. Like, I don't know. And New York has Yaki Flora. Like, I have such a hard time saying that good players are like good because suddenly they're average. You know what I mean? Or like below average because there's so many good players in the league.
Here, I'll even go a step further, Harsha. Let's take a gander. Let's go to France for a moment. Let's take a trip to the Louvre. I kind of like Glister and Naga.
Yeah.
I kind of like them a little bit more than Alvo.
Yeah. Especially if rumors about, Glister having a step up are true. Like, Glister Naga are pretty good.
It's pretty nuts. Toronto, I don't know.
Bro, just go down the list. Like, it's Shockwave Aspire.
Yeah, those are good players. Like,
those are good.
Like, that's No, I will commit. That's better as a DPS line than what Toronto has. I think they're overrating the shit out of Hisu. Like, it is no longer like contenders, like season bumfuck where this kid carried a final, right? That's not the same Hisu. This is the big leagues, bro. And this guy, like, I don't know if they think like it wasn't as meta and whatnot. That's my entire issue with Toronto. It's like, yes, like if you had more signings of the energy of CH0R0RONG and Twilight, I wouldn't hate you. Like you're trying at this point, but you're buying like the expired Kobe beef from like some market, right? Like why do you think you're going to have like league winning success? And you might not think that, but like with last year's like second best dudes or like top 5 dudes. What is the reason when everyone is upgrading? At best, right? Like if you think about it, you're signing top 5 talent from other teams. Everyone is upgrading. The best you can do is top 5.
Yeah. So that's the other thing, dude. Like, let's think about, for example, my team from last year. Like, I think we could reasonably call Houston gatekeepers of season 4, right?
That's fair.
Where we beat every team under us, and for the most part, lost to most of the teams over us, except for once to Dallas and like twice to Shock. I think that you can reasonably call that like the gatekeeper team. Toronto wasn't close to that, right? And Houston is upgraded across the board almost, right? So like that to me that feels like they don't. I don't know whose vision this is, like, but it doesn't feel.
No,
strong.
it is bizarre.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong because I don't want Twilight's legacy to be like this.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, end of the day, I hope that boy's palms were greased. I hope he's got the bag. I hope he pulls up in a Lamborghini. Maybe him and Tavik can drive a bus together. I don't know. This team sucks.
Yeah, I want him to do well. He's my friend. Like, I talk very frequently, but I still have so many doubts with this team
and
with this organization. Honestly.
True.
Now, when you say it sucks, my problem is like,
how in what world have I become the cynical, jaded fuck, and you're the nice guy?
Here's my problem. It is mediocre at best. That's what it is, right? Like,
bro, if every team's mid, then nobody's mid.
Yeah, but
this team's gonna go close with Paris. They probably lose to the Mayhem.
Yeah,
this team needs to make some moves now before you end the season nearly winless.
I'm very surprised if they finish top half in an A. Let's say that.
Yes,
that's the thing. Their ceiling is like the bottom, top. Yeah, like the middle, basically.
Right.
Their ceiling.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Somebody has to shit the bed like nobody's ever seen before. Like somebody's hands have to be lopped off. Keyboards have to be like inexplicably lost in some sort of crazy move to a LAN center. Like this. I'm sorry. I hate shitting on teams. But with everything that these two fine young gentlemen have said, which is true, you look at the DPS in a game that's supposed to be more DPS centric. You look at the supports in a game that's, at least currently, not necessarily DPS or not necessarily support centric. And these tanks are mid at the heroes that they play in a very shallow capacity. I don't get it. Yeah, CH0R0NG's sick. Twilight's very good, but these two players can't be the souls of the team.
Yeah.
Okay,
your main support should never, in any scenario, be your second best player.
No.
Let me suggest some mild augmentations, and you guys then tell me how you think about this. Okay.
Sure.
So they're not going all though. Instead, they're getting Yaki. Okay. And then instead of Finale or Hisu or whatever, right? They are getting
Proper Pelican.
No, it doesn't have to be that high. I think even someone like Venom, someone like
a Tracer player.
Yeah, maybe even Striker.
No, I think Yaki enough for me is enough to go, okay, now you've got some more leg room. Now you've got at least somebody who's gonna follow up on a Twilight play. This kid just makes plays, bro. Who's gonna follow up his plays? Who's gonna TP into the back line and int with him? You know, come on. Yaki will. Give me, I don't know, tanks are tough because we don't even know what tank looks like, but somebody a little bit with some meat on their bones that can kind of play the field. Not hot, but God, please, anything but who's a good flex tank that we could just maybe throw on Ryan.
Sign Yaki QQ, just make a
fine. I'm cool with that. Fuck it, run with that. I'd be much more, charitable to that and say, oh well, Kyokyu's never got a chance and he's been so good for so long. Maybe he can play Ryan. I've seen Hoppa throw bombs since 2018, and even before that, I wasn't all that impressed, folks. Muse can play Winston. His ball's all right, I guess. If we're talking about Dallas shifting gears and how that could be a problem, God, what the fuck does Toronto look like? Yeah. And then you've got, okay, Yiska, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Who's unable to whose visa is out in limbo until the summer? Cool. Now we're one DPS down and we have no flexibility. Awesome. If there was ever a season
I saw
for KDG to pull out of a strat out of his ass, it'd be now. Yes, what were you saying?
I think I saw a highlight clip of Finale's. Maybe was it Finale's Echo? Maybe.
Okay.
It wasn't a highlight clip. It was a low light clip, basically.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have faith in this team.
Oh, and it's so sad. Again, I don't want to be. I hated shitting on Boston for the longest time. I hated shitting on the Mayhem. Obviously, nobody wants to remember the fucking 0-42 Shanghai Dragons. And I don't think Toronto's going to be that bad, but it's just going to be cool, let's go to the fucking bread bowl again. Let's bake out the memes because we're not going to be celebrating the gameplay when these guys play. Let's be honest.
The thing is, I think what is realistic is that they're probably going to win the Canadian duel. I think that's...
Do you... What?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think, Did we talk about Titans yet? No, we didn't, right?
No.
I have pretty big question marks about False as a single tank, dude. That was a boneheaded idea.
All right.
But
I have literally no idea how that team will okay. That team has somehow upgraded in every role, and I don't know if they'll do better.
Yeah. And then back to Toronto. I think there's probably no way that at least there's some quality on the team. They're probably not going to be last. I think that's very, very unlikely to be the case.
I think they'll be top of the bottom or bottom of the middle.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they are likely to be floating above the Titans, the Spitfires.
So
probably competing with Uprising, right?
That's the thing about this team, though. They have spent major bag. They've upgraded. Well, they have brought in. Yeah, I'd say they've upgraded in a lot of these roles. Yet, look at where they're placing and look at where they placed last year. They were bottom of the middle last year. They're probably going to be bottom of the middle this year. I don't necessarily know if that's Overwatch, just players getting better, teams getting better. I think it's more they don't know. Either they just have no ability to land the people they want, which could be true, in fact might be true, or they just don't have any direction and don't know what they should be doing, and I think that's also true. So I'll just say both. Yeah, I think it's both, and I think that like I don't know, something has to change, and like I think KDG is a good coach, and I think that like, dude, something around this org, I don't know.
It is bizarre. You look at the vision. I don't know if somebody's not plugged into to Korea. I don't know if this is overstepping.
It's so weird too, right? Like every other franchise they have or esports team they have is really successful in these other esports. Like Mad Lions is very good, right? Across the board.
Not anymore.
Yeah, okay. Fair. Yeah. Which other teams do they? I think the CDL team was good, right? Like, and for some reason there's some issue with the Defiant that they can't get it over the line, right? It's unfortunate.
I won't lie, like even, and this isn't like, let's be honest, the world still isn't completely open yet. So like, even if like we're gonna go like contract route and say, oh well, teams have more power than ever, maybe they can make some like agile midseason moves. You still have to fight for visas. You have to bring the players over. Yeah. Are the Toronto Defiant gonna do another Discord situation and sign Aspire again? Like fuck me, bro. Like you can't even do that. Like as much as like people are gonna shit on me for this take, I feel like more teams probably could have gone like the North American route, been agile, and genuinely probably still placed about the same.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that as good as South Korean talent is, logistically, like structurally, it's not easy to do. It's just hard to get it right. I don't know.
Can I? And we have to be mindful of the time here and of Harsha's time as well. But like, let me finish on a good note, because I think we have. If you're a Toronto fan, the last half an hour was painful to you.
Support a better team. I don't know.
Let me also say, this is a team that puts a lot of resources and takes this very seriously in terms of like the application of the resources, and this is something that should be commended for, because they very obviously want to be successful, and that is something that it can't be generally said about every franchise. Some are phoning it in, and like that is not the Toronto Defiant, and I love that about them, right?
It makes it more painful though, because they clearly have ambition, like they want to be good. Like you don't sign Twilight without having ambition, right?
100%.
Oh, so just put something better out, please.
Yeah,
that's all. And I agree. They take care of their players. They don't want to screw them over or anything like that. It's just like you should be able to do better if these are the resources you're able to provide the team with.
Yeah, I think that's also important to sort of like put that frame on it, because we're not shitting on the team just out of pure hatred. We're just very frustrated with 3, possibly 4 seasons of mediocrity when you want to be more, right? Yeah. And like, it's unfortunate. We were just as critical of an organization like Dallas, and it feels like you still haven't like gotten rid of those ghosts or these thought patterns on how to fix this roster. And for instance, like Harsha had to learn that he had to let go of some whatever nostalgic emotions, because before his organization could be successful. I would argue Houston is very much the same case, right? Like the ghosts have to be banished from the meta in order for you to finally start winning. And I feel like you had a bunch of like new starts, but still the same patterns apply every season. You're bringing in these pretty established talents that were arguably never the best or haven't for a long time. You're paying a lot in order to get that quality, because we understand that like players are skeptical towards your ability to assemble a roster, so they want to be paid based on that skepticism to at least, go into retirement with a hefty paycheck. But there has to be fresh ideas and a fresh take, and I'd much rather almost love to see you like run with an underdog scenario for a season and take a bunch of like just like start from scratch, than like have this situation like come up again and again. And yes, you've tried a bunch, you've had the Western push and whatnot, and you bring so many fans to the league as well. Like it's really like this franchise, this location, the willingness of the ownership group to spend on success has so much potential, and it's just frustrating to not see it actualized.
What you're describing is a culture shift. Like they need something big to change in their organization, and it's just not happening. It's just more of the same every year right now. So that's the issue, I think.
Yeah, I think it probably starts with the head coach. You probably like you can't take the head coach like of the second best team that couldn't win a trophy. I think if I was Toronto Defiant, I would have much rather tried No Hill than KDG another season, for instance. Some stuff like that. Just throw something at the wall, like someone that clearly overachieved was maybe a little wacky, but at least something different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, then let's sort of like do some housekeeping because, as I said, this is was not run as smoothly as I would have liked to have it, because we kind of forgot the patrons show. So, right now, what we also forgot was to say that this is, of course, episode 223, and it was brought to us by Battle Crab, Refined Bean, Bronzebud, Buhau, Chare, Commissioner Picasso, Chris Out 344, Kasha 67, Lolshin, Porkchop Sammy, Rex Zane, Volamel Smooth Nuts, and Your Misery. Right? Now, as we hopefully get Papa Avro back in order to, make it a little bit more smooth, give it a little bit more earlier appreciation to our viewers, I still want to thank Harsha for coming on, thinking about Overwatch once again. And I mean, the best of luck in whatever like professional endeavor you have going forward, and hopefully some content to come. Are you planning anything in terms of the off-season content now?
I think maybe when the season starts and okay, if they give me access to the game, I'll definitely talk about my initial impressions. Dude, they might not give me access to the game. I don't know if they like me that much. We'll see. Otherwise, I might do a podcast if the game is enthralling, just like a weekly recap or something like that. But yeah, otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to be making YouTube content. I don't think I'm going to have that kind of time, but I will definitely watch as a hobby. So that's why I want to kind of talk about it as well. You're gonna have to play this episode backwards to hear my thoughts, though, because Yiska's gonna be switching it around for the.
No, we're not. We're just keeping it. Joe, anything you want to call woeful this season, this week? Or are you good?
Your brain, your ability to host.
Fair.
I don't know. It's a pleasure. Obviously, Harsha, thank you for coming on, and excited to get into the season.
You guys are the only podcast I'll wake up at 6 a.m. to.
Oh, well, we appreciate you. We appreciate that.
I mean, it's also the only podcast that has Europeans that you can have to coordinate times to. And if Platchek knocked, you could have stayed in bed until 3 p.m., right? Anyway.
They're nice. I don't know what they're doing, so.
All right. Thanks a ton. This was episode 223 of the Tactical Crouch podcast.